A Mortal's Journey to Immortality Episode 180. In the previous episode, after the Grand Nascent Soul trade meeting began, Daoist Heavencrystal displayed his mysterious puppets, powerful constructs refined from ancient cultivators. He sought a rare item known as the Soul Stone in exchange. A relic few had even heard of. When Han Li saw it, realization dawned. The so-called Soul Stone was none other than the Umbra Beast crystal he once obtained in the Umbra Realm. While the others hesitated, Han Li calmly revealed an enormous gem of the same kind. Astonishing everyone present, Daoist Heavencrystal, clearly desperate for such a treasure, agreed to trade all 6 puppets for it. Yet beneath that calm exchange, Han Li subtly transmitted a secret message that made the old Daoist's eyes shine with sudden comprehension. After the trade meet ended, Han Li parted ways with his companions. Wandering alone through the vast soaring heaven city, he intended to find rare materials for crafting powerful talismans, particularly the Spirit Subjugation Talisman. A life-saving treasure he wished to master. And the story continues. A majority of elemental high-grade talismans actually weren't particularly powerful, and were inferior to magic treasures. In the world of cultivation, many practitioners abandoned the pursuit of 5-element magic techniques once they reached the core formation stage. Yet, not all high-grade magic techniques were useless. Some were so formidable that even nascent soul cultivators would hesitate to directly confront them. The problem, however, was that these techniques were extremely difficult to master, slow to execute, and impractical in combat. By the time a cultivator could cast one, an enemy of the same level could have already dealt multiple lethal strikes. Han Li was aware of tales about the Molan spell warriors, who had broken through these limitations. They had researched powerful spirit techniques that could be unleashed instantly. This allowed even lower-level spell warriors to match cultivators of similar strength without relying on talismans or magic tools. Their high-grade cultivators could combine these spirit techniques with magic treasures to double their offensive power, overwhelming opponents with precision and speed. This extraordinary ability had forced the superpowers of the Heavenly South to unite against the Molan tribes. Yet even combined, they could barely hope to fend them off. Since condensing his nascent soul, Han Li had taken the time to study the simplest high-grade techniques, recognizing the gap in his skills. Still, his speed in employing these techniques was painfully slow. For him, using them effectively seemed almost impossible against any competent enemy. He realized, however, that combining a high-grade talisman with a magic treasure in a simultaneous strike could be devastating. If talismans could be launched in volleys like lower-grade ones, even late nascent soul cultivators would be forced to retreat, as such an attack would be akin to facing 30 cultivators simultaneously. Yet, this remained a theoretical scenario. High-grade talismans were rare, expensive, and most were not offensive in nature. Wasting hundreds of thousands of spirit stones on a single attack was unthinkable. And finding such talismans in the market was even harder. That evening, Han Li wandered the bustling streets of soaring Heaven City, focusing only on the larger shops that might carry top-grade talisman brushes or valuable magic tools. He ignored smaller stores entirely, deeming the effort to search them fruitless. As he moved through the market, he kept his cultivation concealed, posing as a mid-core formation cultivator. This allowed him to move without drawing undue attention. Most foundation establishment cultivators showed him respect, while core formation cultivators barely noticed him. Hours passed, and Han Li had yet to find anything noteworthy. The sun dipped below the horizon, and moonlight stones were set in place outside the shops, casting a pale glow over the street. He decided to visit 2 more stores before returning to his residence. Just as he made this decision, the sound of a heated quarrel reached him. A crowd of cultivators had gathered, drawn by the commotion. Han Li frowned, instinctively placing his hands behind his back, and started to walk away. But a voice cut sharply through the air, loud and resentful. "What? Are all of you drifting cloud sect cultivators merely thieves? You want to just walk away after ruining my talisman?" Another voice, calmer but firm, replied, "It isn't that I don't want to pay, but I'm short on spirit stones since I just bought other items. This is only an elementary mid-grade fire cloud talisman. How could it possibly cost 300 spirit stones? It should be no more than 100. I offered to leave my sect medallion as collateral. I'll return once I borrow some spirit stones from my sect members at the inn. Han Li paused. The man's voice was familiar. It belonged to someone from the Drifting Cloud sect. Curious, he changed direction and approached the scene. From a distance, he could see a small miscellaneous goods store where 3 cultivators confronted a young man dressed in black. It was Sun Huo from Firecloud Mountain, whom Han Li had first seen at the Sword Trial Assembly. Despite only 20 years passing, Sun Huo's cultivation had advanced remarkably, though his youthful appearance remained unchanged. The short-bearded shopkeeper glared at him, saying sharply, "A single worthless medallion is useless to me. Return to your sect and leave it, or I can notify the enforcers." That Firecloud talisman isn't just a mid-grade talisman. It was refined by a talisman grandmaster in Soaring Heaven's city. 300 spirit stones is generous. Are all Drifting Cloud sect cultivators like this? His assistant held a wooden box with the talisman inside, showing a regretful look. Sun Huo, caught in a difficult position, forced a smile and said, "Fine. The talisman is yours if you insist it was made by a grandmaster." The shopkeeper, sensing advantage, sneered, "Do you even know what you're saying? Trying not to pay, are you? Don't blame me if I involve the city enforcers." Clearly, Sun Huo had little chance of winning this dispute. His expression flickered between anxiety and resolve. Finally, he stepped forward and opened his storage pouch, taking out a bundle of talismans. "Although these aren't high grade, they're worth at least 300 spirit stones," he said through gritted teeth. The shopkeeper relaxed slightly, reaching to take them, but Sun Huo's gaze landed on a half-torn yellow talisman. Immediately, he pulled it back, refusing to hand it over, and gave the rest instead. The shopkeeper, irritated, scoffed, "You're so nervous over a torn piece of talisman paper? Are Drifting Cloud sect cultivators really this poor?" He reached again to take the talismans. At that moment, a figure appeared between them in a sudden blur. Sun Huo's heart dropped. The shopkeeper stumbled back, shouting furiously, "Who are you? What are you doing?" The newcomer's expression was calm, almost indifferent. "It's nothing. I merely overheard our Drifting Cloud sect being insulted 3 times in a row." "Why not say it to my face?" A tremendous pressure radiated from him, causing nearby cultivators to recoil. Those with weaker cultivation immediately dropped to their knees, overwhelmed by the sheer weight of his presence. Even passing core formation cultivators were shaken, though not as severely. One of them became panic-stricken and cried out, "Nascent Soul Cultivator, Senior, you." And that wraps up this episode. In this part, we saw Han Li exploring the markets of Soaring Heaven City in search of high-grade talismans and magic tools. Reflecting on the limits and potential of these powerful items, he considered how combining high-grade talismans with magic treasures could create devastating attacks. Yet also realized how rare and expensive such resources were. As he moved through the busy streets, blending in as a mid-core formation cultivator, he observed the bustling city life while carefully navigating the larger shops. Understanding that smaller stores were unlikely to hold anything of value. The episode also highlighted the confrontation between Sun Huo, a young cultivator of Firecloud Mountain, and a store owner over a mispriced talisman. Han Li's attention to the dispute showed his sense of responsibility toward his fellow sect members. The tension escalated as Sun Huo tried to resolve the matter without losing face, ultimately refusing to give up a half-torn talisman of particular significance. The situation came to a turning point when a powerful Nascent Soul cultivator appeared, immediately imposing an overwhelming presence that forced nearby cultivators to their knees, leaving Sun Huo and the shopkeeper stunned. Through this episode, we gained a deeper understanding of the challenges Han Li faces in mastering and using high-grade magic techniques, the intricate economy of talismans in the cultivation world, and the immense power gap between core formation and nascent soul cultivators. We also saw how even minor disputes in the market can escalate quickly, highlighting the social dynamics and risks cultivators encounter in everyday life. If you enjoyed this episode or found it interesting, Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive notifications for the latest episodes following Han Li's journey. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episodes.